So how does the relationship between a meeting planner and a project manager for an AV production team work? Well, thank goodness today we've got Joy Harley, Senior Project Manager with LEMG here to discuss just that very subject.
Welcome to the Event Pro Show, your ultimate guide to the world of corporate events. Whether you're a corporate event planner, experiential marketing pro, producer, technician, or anyone involved in creating exceptional events, this podcast is your go-to resource for valuable insights, expert tips, and inspiring stories from the industry's leading professionals.
About not eating breakfast, the truth is I didn't make my breakfast either. Someone else did. So
Breakfast is a lot.
yeah.
No. I'd rather take the extra few winks of sleep before I get up to commit to breakfast.
Few winks.
Yeah, a few winks. Few more winks.
Are you a snoozer? Do you use a snooze alarm?
Yeah, I am the person who has like 18 alarms for the morning.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
like
also,
the
like,
main
okay,
alarm.
Yeah, your main alarm, your second main alarm,
And then the snooze is in between.
Yeah, and then
It gets crazy.
alarm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm only like that on regular days. Like on show days, I don't even need an alarm. I'm up. I'm ready.
The first day of a show is like, if I'm on the road doing a show, it's a multi-day show. The first night, like you travel in and the show's next day load in, I don't sleep well at all. And then after that, I sleep like a baby. But like, I guess it's like once I see everything in the room, then I'm good.
When I see everything in the room, that's the first, like, I sleep a little bit better, but then when I see the first day of show go off, I sleep a lot better. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
those
want
first
to
days are rough.
I want to ask you a couple questions because you have so you're a senior project manager at LEMG, one of our finest senior project managers, and you work with event planners all the time. And the problem with putting you on shows is, I'll tell you the number one problem, Joy, with scheduling you is that everybody wants you back. And so then it becomes a struggle of like, oh, everybody's got to have Joy on their show. And it's a problem, really, when you do your job too well. But I wanted to ask you, like, okay, so there's a relationship that you build with planners and you work with all different personality types. And it seems like you're doing another show or two or three or four every week. What is the common denominator for you about like building that initial relationship with a planner, and how come, from my perspective, you are really successful at it and you are able to, it really doesn't matter who you work with, you always walk away with a good relationship. So what do you think, how do you approach like a new client, new event, new planner?
I think my first question to any planner is just, what do they want out of this event? Like, how do you want people to feel? Are you doing this because this is your event? Are you doing this because you have a boss who's like down your neck and this is part of your everyday? And then that usually just, to me, that's the root that answers so many other questions. Like, if this is something that's dear, if this is their baby, like, Wake Forest, for example, then
Yeah.
you just know how to talk to them about it. If it's something that they're just doing because their boss wants them to, then, I try to get to know more about them, because I'm not going to say they don't like necessarily care about the event, but it's something different when you're doing this because this is your job versus you're doing this because this was the idea you had in your head to. Um, and then from there, it just kind of goes to multiple conversations on why they came up with this event, or what do they want people to take from it. Yeah, and it just grows.
What do you, when you think about what you do as a project manager of an AV services company, we work with planners. What are the things that you think people might find surprising? Like, so much conversation pre-show revolves around this. Like, what do you end up talking about mostly pre-show?
Content. Content is always important, because in today's time, you can just, everything is so quick. And so people get wrapped up in that, like, oh, I can just give this to you, like right before the event. And so it's an important conversation to have, that while you can do that, we would like, a basis to go off of. Like, I understand the last minute change, but if you just give us a base and you can see how how it's going to show on your show. Like, you can see it on the screens, you can see it everywhere. You can just see what you need to do. Content
Yeah.
always starts a lot of other conversations too. Um, I think it just is a reminder of what people forget. Like, lower thirds might be a thing. Like, you want people to know who's speaking, or, you know,
Yeah.
I ran into like, oh, I actually didn't want that to happen right then and there. Let's change it to where, so content, I start with content,
Hmm.
and looks. How do you want it to look? Like, what do you want people to walk in the room and see? And
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Like, everything drives from content. Like, we spend a lot of time, especially in our world, we think about the actual stuff going in the room, the
Hmm.
people there that we need to run it. But if attendees come in and, it's not compelling, they're bored,
Yeah.
and so starting from like, this is the core of like what we're delivering. We're delivering an experience, and it's got to have some kind of meaningful content. And that's the most important thing. I think that's such a great place to start that conversation, because even like you were saying, then you go to looks and all that. Yeah, that's secondary. Like, what are you trying to communicate, and how are you doing it in a way that people can remember? Otherwise, it's just kind of white noise, because there's just so much content hitting people from other places. So you better have that on point, your content on point, or it's just a waste of time, waste of money for everybody, no matter how much gear you have in the room, how much money you spent on it, quite
And
frankly.
answer your question. And then to me, you're thinking about how your attendees are, but now I'm getting more of the technical aspects that you don't even know I'm getting from this conversation of content.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I want this to be shown when we have this panel. And then my mind then goes to, all right, panel, well, how many people are on the panel? How many chairs are you going to need? How many
Hmm.
microphones? And then now we went from, okay, this slide would be shown with them, but you're right, I do need chairs and I do want everyone to be mic'd up, but
Right.
then I immediately want to go to a video. So then that's another it's just so many questions getting answered. Like, so do you want the chairs to stay? Are they going to come right back up?
Hmm.
Is someone going to talk about this video? So it's just so many different conversations just related around content. And,
I think
sometimes we
you've
decide like,
hit.
oh, yeah, you're like, your screen's not big enough. Or, actually this is super content heavy. You should maybe decide on a DSM, or, it's just
Yes,
so many different conversations
I
starting
love
with
it.
content.
That's such an important thing. And so like, it almost takes the pressure off of the planner. Like, I don't have to think of every aspect. What I have to focus on is what I'm trying to do. And if you're working with like a trusted partner, like you're in the back of your mind doing all the math of like, okay, well, they're doing a panel, they're doing this, that means this technically, but the planner doesn't even know half the time that you're doing that,
Yeah.
so that you've got their back on that side,
Yeah.
and that you're pulling that information out of them through the relationship, which is a really cool way of approaching it, instead of just like spreadsheet, five
Yeah.
mics
Yeah.
here, we need 3 TVs here, whatever. You're just like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to do?
Yeah. Because in my mind, while you're saying all that, I'm building out this spreadsheet in my head of a production schedule. So,
Right.
after we talk, like, well, hey, based on our conversation, this is how the day looked like it's gonna go. I made a quick schedule, check it out, let me know if you need to change, and then we go into whole different conversations. But we have that structure there. So
Love
good.
it. It's my little takeaway from you today is content. That's what everything drives from. And I totally believe that. I think, the kind of knowledge that you have is what separates us or a great AV provider from just commodities. Like, anybody can buy speakers or monitors or projectors, LED walls, whatever, but having a relationship with someone that can pull out of you, what are you trying to accomplish, and then create a vision from that and then execute on that. I think you touched on, so you answered it. That's why people keep coming back to you, Joy, because you keep doing a good job. People, why do I like Joy so much? She just gets me. Yeah. Well, thank you for spending a couple minutes with me.
Yeah,
And
thank
man, I'll just do my best to just make sure that you're not overscheduled over this next next year.
you. Man, bring it on. I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the Event Pro Show. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can go to lemg.live and be sure to tune in just about once a week where we'll be releasing new podcast episodes. Thank you. The Event Pro Show is a production of LEMG, video by Nick Barrett, audio and post-production by Prince Thompson. You can learn more about us at lemg.live.